Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to another English lesson. It is Miss Everingham here, and I am really looking forward to today's lesson. We have had a practice at writing the beginning of our story, or retelling the beginning of Into the Forest. Then we had a go at writing the climax of the story, and then yesterday we had a go at retelling the end of Into the Forest. Today, we get to put all of the skills together that we've learnt this week into one big retelling of Into the Forest for a peer or friend in our class. So let's get stuck into it. Today, in our lesson, you will need a pen or pencil and your home learning book or a piece of paper to write on. Press pause while you gather those items and then press play when you're ready to get started. Fantastic! Let's get going. As you know, your writing task this week is to retell Into the Forest by Anthony Browne for someone in your class. Let's remind ourselves of the story by clicking on the link to the story in our morning email this morning. Press pause while you go and listen to the story, and then press play when you're ready to keep going with the lesson. Press pause now. Fantastic work. I hope you enjoyed listening to that story again. So as you know, each day this week, we have learnt a different skill, and you have shown that you are very clever and creative when putting these skills into your writing. I've really enjoyed reading some of them this week. But today, we are learning to use expanded noun phrases, coordinating conjunctions, and time-fronted adverbials in my writing to retell the story. My turn. I'm learning to use expanded noun phrases, coordinating conjunctions, and time-fronted adverbials in my writing to retell the story. Wow, that's a lot we're learning to do today. Your turn. Fantastic work. Let's keep going. Okay, so we just listened to Into the Forest. So we know what happens at the beginning, the middle or the climax, and the ending of the story. You are going to now write the 3 headings like I have on the screen on your piece of paper in front of you. And then you're going to have a go at writing the headings. Writing a few notes under each heading. Press pause while you just write the 3 headings and draw 3 columns in your book or on your sheet of paper in front of you. Write the columns and headings. Press pause now while you do that and press play when you're ready to continue. Fantastic. So you should have the heading Introduction on your left column, heading Climax in your middle column, and the heading Ending on your right column. Now it's time to write some notes about the introduction. Remember, what happened in Into the Forest? In the introduction, you introduce the main character, which is the boy, and you introduce the setting, which is where the story is set. If I recall, the story is set in the boy's bedroom. And then he goes down to the kitchen. Pause the video while you write a few sentences about the introduction. You don't have to write the whole introduction, just 1 or 2 sentences. Pause now while you write 2 sentences about the introduction. Pause now. Fantastic. I can't wait to see what you've written under introduction. Now's your time to write some notes about the climax. Here is where you introduce the problem. The boy goes into the forest when his mother told him not to. Press pause while you write 1 or 2 sentences about what happens in the climax. Press pause now. Fantastic work. Now you're going to write 1 or 2 sentences about the ending of the story. What happens and how is the problem solved? Press pause while you write 1 or 2 sentences about what happens and press play when you're ready to continue. Press pause now. Fantastic. Let's see if what I wrote is similar to what you have written. In the introduction, we introduce the characters and setting. The scared boy wakes up in his dark room after hearing a terrifying noise. The next morning, his dad is missing and his mother asks him to deliver a fresh cake to his sick grandmother. Now we introduce the problem. The boy takes a shortcut through the dark, dangerous forest. He meets a number of unusual people, including a boy with a cow, a sister, and a girl, and a brother and a sister. The forest is cold and eerie, and he worries that he will never find grandmother's house. In the ending, where the problem is solved, finally he finds grandmother's cottage, and grandmother is very happy to see him. Dad was at grandmother's house the whole time. They walk home together. Sorry, that should be together, that last word. You might have had something similar to this, or maybe you've added in some parts of the story that I've missed out. You don't have to have something exactly the same, but if you would like to copy some of my ideas into your table, you can press pause now, or press play and then press play when you're ready to continue. Fantastic. Okay, so we have a bit of an idea of what happens what we're going to include in our retell at the beginning, middle, and end of our story. Let's remind ourselves of the skills that we're going to be including in our retell. First, can you guess what the first skill is going to be? Yes, you're right. Expanded noun phrases. My turn. An expanded noun phrase adds a description. It includes a determiner, adjective, and an expanded noun phrase adds a description. It includes a determiner, adjective, and noun. Your turn. Fantastic. Expanded noun phrase, determiner, adjective, noun. You can remember using the acronym DAN. Fantastic. Expanded noun phrase adds a description. It includes a determiner, adjective, and noun. Okay, here's an example of a expanded noun phrase. The lonely children crouch by the tree. Can you remember what part of that sentence is the expanded noun phrase? Determiner, the. Adjective, lonely. Noun, children. The expanded noun phrase is the lonely children. Fantastic, because remember, an expanded noun phrase has determiner, introduces the noun. Lonely is the adjective, which is the describing word for the noun, and the noun is children. Which of these sentences includes an expanded noun phrase? And how do you know? Press pause while you work out the answer and press play when you're ready to check. Okay, let's check. Number 1, the boy crept along the path. The is the determiner, boy is the noun. There's no word in there describing what the boy's like. There's no adjective. Number 1, cross. The anxious boy crept along the path. There's the expanded noun phrase, the anxious boy. 3, that's 2 was a tick, expanded noun phrase. 3, he ran through the darkening forest. I can see an expanded noun phrase there. The darkening forest. Determiner, adjective, noun. Well done. Okay, so expanded noun phrases was our first skill. Our second skill we learnt about was, can you guess it? Yes, coordinating conjunctions are words that join two clauses that make sense by themselves. My turn. Coordinating conjunctions are words that join two clauses that make sense by themselves. Can you remember this from Tuesday? Clause 1, I like cats. Clause 2, he likes dogs. We can add a word in there to join those two main clauses together. Both clauses make sense by themselves. A coordinating conjunction joins two clauses together. I like cats and he likes dogs. In that sentence, what's the coordinating conjunction? Well done, it was and. The boy was wearing a baseball cap and chewing a dry blade of grass. Can you work out clause 1, clause 2, and the coordinating conjunction in this sentence? Let's check if you got it right. Did you get it right? Clause 1, the boy was wearing a baseball cap. That makes sense all by itself. Remember our little clue of adding the subject? The boy was chewing a dry blade of grass. That's our second clause. We can add in and in between those two clauses to join them together. That's our coordinating conjunction and. Well done if you guessed it right. Let's try this one. He wished he could help the girl, but he could not arrive at grandmother's without the cake. What is the clause 1? What is clause 2? And where is the coordinating conjunction? Press pause while you work it out and press play when you're ready to check your answer. All right, let's see if you were right. He wished he could help the girl. That's the first clause. He could not arrive at grandmother's without the cake. Second clause. They make sense by themselves, but let's join them together to engage our reader. But is the joining word, the coordinating conjunction. He wished he could help the girl, but he could not arrive at grandmother's without the cake. All right, let's see if I can trick you. Which of these sentences includes a coordinating conjunction? How do you know? 1, the boy crept along the path. 2, the boy squeezed his palms together as he crept along the path. 3, he snatched the basket and ran into the darkening rainforest. On your piece of paper, 1, 2, 3, tick or cross. Press pause now and press play when you're ready to check your answer. All right, let's see how you went. Number 1, the boy crept along the path. There's only one main clause in that sentence, so that does not have a coordinating conjunction. The boy squeezed his palms together, one clause, as he crept along the path. He crept along the path is our second clause, and as you're right, as was the coordinating conjunction. Number 3, he snatched the basket, clause 1. He ran into the darkening forest, clause 2, and joins it together to make the sentence more engaging. He snatched the basket and ran into the darkening rainforest or darkening forest. Okay, so we have reminded ourselves about expanded noun phrases. We remembered about coordinating conjunctions. What is our last skill that we learnt yesterday? Can you remember? Time-fronted adverbials. That's right. My turn. Time-fronted adverbials are at the beginning of the sentence and describe the timing of the main clause. Your turn. Or we could say, well done, beautiful singing. We could say they describe when the main clause happens. So, after taking a deep breath, he knocked tentatively on the door, calling his grandmother's name. The main clause is in black. He knocked tentatively on the door, calling his grandmother's name. The time-fronted adverbial describes when the events of the main clause happen. So, when did he knock tentatively? After taking a deep breath. Time-fronted adverbials at the beginning of the sentence and describe when the events of the main clause happen. What is the time-fronted adverbial in this sentence? All of a sudden, he heard a loud voice behind him. Press pause while you find it and press play when you're ready to check your answer. All right, last chance for me to trick you. Did I trick you? Could you find it? All of a sudden is the time-fronted adverbial because it tells us when the main clause happened. He heard a loud voice when? All of a sudden he heard a loud voice. Fantastic. Okay, now it's your turn. Your writing task today is to retell the beginning, the climax, and the ending of Into the Forest for your classmate. Don't forget to follow your plan that you just wrote out in your 3 columns today to write in a narrative structure. Introduction, climax, ending. You're also going to include expanded noun phrases, coordinating conjunctions, and time-fronted adverbials to make it really interesting for your classmate. If you need help remembering what those skills are, you can go back in the video today to remind yourself. Use your notes in your 3 columns on the sheet in front of you to help you work out what you're going to write in your story. If you need to replay any of this to help you remember, you can now. It's time to get writing, so pick up that pencil, and I can't wait to hear your retelling of Into the Forest this afternoon in the Zoom session. Well done, Year 3, on all of your hard work today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.